Fall is in the air and the holidays are right around the corner.
So it's perfect timing to start a fall soup. So today we're going to do a soup, and rather than buying that 15 bean soup package of 20 ounces, we're going to make our own with what I have on hand, because you know I love to do that. So today in our crock pot, I'm putting in half of a cup of pinto beans, a fourth of a cup of garbanzo beans, a half of a cup of kidney beans, a fourth of a cup of red lentil, a fourth of a cup of navy, a fourth of a cup of black beans, a fourth of a cup of great northern beans, and a fourth of a cup of brown lentils. Now you can use any type of dried bean that you want to. I personally would use a split pea and also a lima bean, but my husband doesn't care for those, so I'm just going to use what I have to make my soup, and it doesn't have to equal 15 different types of beans. We're only doing 8 types of beans today. And then I'm going to add to this 1 large onion, which I happen to have red on hand, so that's what we're going to use. I have onions from the garden, but they haven't been pulled yet. I'm still letting them go. I had bought some red ones for something else, didn't end up using them quick enough, so these need used up, so that's what we're using today. And since I haven't pre-soaked these beans, I'm going to add 5 cups of water, an extra cup of water for my beans to cook in. And I'm also going to add a fourth of a teaspoon of garlic powder. You can add fresh garlic if you'd like, 1 to 2 cloves, but I don't have any fresh garlic, so I'm just substituting. And then I'm going to use up some ham that I packaged up from our spiral ham last Christmas, and I packaged it up into little packages so I could make ham and beans and things like that through the winter. And so I'm just going to use this leftover frozen ham. Some of you know I have some dental work I'm saving up to pay for, so I'm using up things around the house to save up for that dental work. And then I'm going to supplement with broth that I've saved up from other recipes. So I have 3 cups of pork broth that I have saved up from when I cooked pork roast. And I have 1 cup of beef broth that I'm going to supplement. And we're going to add salt and pepper to taste, and then a few other ingredients in the end. So let's get this cooking. I'm going to go ahead and add my frozen leftover ham in there, but you can also put in just a ham bone if you save the ham bone. I save the ham bone to put in like split pea soup, but this also would work in this recipe. Now that the beans are softened, we're adding our homemade broth in there and going to let this simmer for a while. The beans are now soft, so we're going to add in a can of whatever type of diced tomatoes that you have on hand, and we're going to add in 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, which is supposed to really bring out the flavor.
I'm going to finish it by adding 2 tablespoons of chili powder.
I hope you enjoy this delicious frugal recipe.
So fall came in right on schedule. As you can tell from the last recipe, it went from 99 degrees to 67 degrees, which was a huge climate shock for me. And I am back to the hot coffee. I have lots of fun recipes to share with you this next season that I am excited to try. I am really looking forward to fall. I've got some new soups and stews I want to try. I've got some fun new holiday recipes to share with you. So I hope that you will stick around for that this next season. I feel like fall is one of the best times to save money on food. Not only can we use up things from our refrigerator, our freezer, our pantry to make hearty meals that are very inexpensive to keep our families' tummies full, but we also move into the holiday season with a lot of things on sale that we can pick up now through the holiday season at specials and stock up prices while we are making these cheaper dishes at home. So, moving into this time of year is one of the best times that we can stock up for the following year. Pantry basics like flour and sugar and baking powder and baking soda and all of those things that go into the baking holiday are usually at stock up prices, not to mention things like pumpkin that we can stock up for the next year. If we wait and we purchase those things in the off season, they can be very expensive. And I have seen Libby's pumpkin go as high as $3 a can. But buying that off brand does not affect the quality or the taste of your dish. And a lot of times we can get those at stock up prices and then still have some of those going into the next season. And then we can stock up at those great deals when they go on special to have them for the next year. Now, sometimes they will make those pumpkin cans expire right before the holiday, and that is a trick that marketing uses to get you to buy more. But I can tell you from experience in owning a grocery store that just because your pumpkin expired in October doesn't mean you can't use it for your November and your December dishes. It will be just fine, and then you can stock up for the next year again. That is one of the tricks that I have been using for a long time during this high inflation is I've gone to a lot of one pot meals. But in fall, we expect to have one pot meals and crock pot meals, chilies and soups and stews. And those things can really help our budget by making those things and then putting those extra dollars that we normally would have spent into our holiday food budget. Otherwise, it is hard and expensive to come up with enough money to buy the things that you need if you're hosting the meals. We still have a turkey from last year that my husband was given at his work. And it's not a huge turkey, but I have family that prefers ham. So I will be able to use that turkey this year, not have to buy a turkey, and be able to stock up when the turkeys go on some of those dirt low prices for the next year. I also will be able to use a lot of the things that I have saved and stuck back to use in the holiday preparation. So as you make out your menus this year, look at what you have on hand already to try to make your holiday meal as inexpensive as possible. That doesn't mean it's not going to be tasty, delicious, and have things that everyone would enjoy. But keep your eye out for recipes, maybe a few that are tried and true and everyone expects, but maybe throw in a few of those new recipes with things that you already have on hand to make your dollars stretch. It's going to be more important than ever that we learn how to do this and that we keep that pattern going throughout the year. I know it has been a lifesaver for me since I have retired to be able to do things like that. Our budget has not increased for food since I quit working, and a lot of the reasons are because I make those one pot dishes or those inexpensive dishes that fill us up so we're not snacking in between as well. Now, I showed you in one of the last videos that I picked up some of those peanuts that were on sale. I'm going to mix those with some candy corn in a dish. If you don't like the candy corn, you can pick around it. If you don't like the peanut, you can pick around it. But the salt and the sweet together of that little mixture is not only appealing in the appearance, but it's very, very tasty. And so I'm just going to do a few things like that to offset some of the desserts that I would normally make. I'm still going to make desserts. I'm still going to ask people to bring things, and that also helps my budget. So when people ask to bring things, by all means, give them something they can bring. Say, bring the hot rolls or bring a pie, and then find out what they're bringing and mark that off your list to help with your holiday budget. I used to be one of those people that would say, no, just bring yourself. But now I know that they are more than willing to contribute, and they want to contribute, and they want to bring something that everyone can try. So go ahead and let them do that. Let them help you. There's nothing wrong with letting your guests help you provide this meal. When I grew up, my grandma would make like a couple of little meats, like a small roast beef and a turkey. Everybody else brought everything else. We had a huge family with tons of grandkids and tons of kids and in-laws. And we had so much food because everybody would bring one dish per person to our carry-in Christmas meal. And we always had enough, and we had a huge variety of things to try. So those are old-fashioned things that people used to do to make their dollars stretch, and we need to fall back on those this holiday season. I already know that I will be hosting this year, and I will have some overnight guests, and I will have my son and his larger family here for several days to be eating leftovers with us. So, knowing that ahead of time is great information to have. I have already started looking for different things that I can pick up. I have already started making plans on different dishes that I can make, and that gives me ample time to look ahead at what I can make, what I can afford, and how I can make my dollars stretch. So I love having that kind of information early. So if you know you're going to host this year, or even if you're going to be a guest at someone's home, ask ahead of time. Find out if you can bring something, what you can bring, and start looking for those specials now so you can fill your pantry with markdowns, with stock ups if you're not going to host, and with things you're going to need to make that dollar stretch in your food budget. I hope that this video has been helpful to you. I hope to see you in the future. If it has, please give me a thumbs up, and I hope to see you soon.